Today I want to tell you the story of Hubbard Pryor. He was an enslaved man on a plantation down in Polk County, Georgia. He was owned by a man by the name of Pryor. And sometime, maybe in the latter part of 1863 or early 1864, he would escape from this plantation. And he made his way all the way up to Chattanooga, Tennessee, where he would enlist in the United States Colored Troops of the 44th Regiment in March of 1864. Here is a picture of Hubbard Pryor when he arrived in Chattanooga in the tattered and ragged clothes he wore on the plantation. Here's an image of him donning the blue federal uniform and shouldering a rifle musket ready to fight for his freedom. With President Lincoln issuing the Emancipation Proclamation in January 1st, 1863, this gave the federal government authority to enlist African American men into the United States Army and Navy. Unfortunately for a lot of these men, they would be in secondary roles, manning fortifications, and so forth for a pretty good bit of the war. But as the war progressed on, a lot of these African American men would get the advantage to fight just like the white men in the field. Frederick Douglass said at one point, "Once you let the black man get upon his person the brass letter U.S., let him get an eagle on his button and a musket on his shoulder and bullets in his pocket. There is no power on earth that can deny that he has earned the right to citizenship." Hubbard Pryor and the 44th United States Colored Troops were guarding the railroad in a fortification around Dalton, Georgia. And in October of 1864, as John Bell Hood's Confederate Army of Tennessee is pushing northward, some of Alexander Peter Stewart's corps will engage with that position, and the 44th United States Colored Troops was highly outnumbered by the Confederates, so the Colonel Lewis Johnson decided that they were going to surrender. This is the largest capture of United States Colored Troops during the American Civil War, and because the Confederate government did not recognize black men as soldiers, they were not offered the rights through the prisoner exchange system. Once these African American men were captured, a lot of them were corralled in a pen where slave owners would come by and claim ownership of them, and the ones that were not claimed would go on to serve the Confederate Army in building railroads and fortifications, anything to enhance the Confederate war. In April of 1865, as the Confederate armies are surrendering in the field in North Carolina and in Appomattox Courthouse, Virginia, Hubbard Pryor will make his way back around the area of Polk County, Georgia, and find his family that was enslaved on Mr. Pryor's farm. Sometime in the post-war period, Hubbard Pryor and his family would move out to Robeson County, Texas, and they would settle there for many years, and Hubbard Pryor would die in 1890, and he's buried there in Texas today. A man that literally came from enslavement to earning his freedom with the ending of the American Civil War.